Do I hear a voice? Do I hear a sound? Is it my voice? From within, a force that is just, say it. Hi everyone, this is Revin, and today I am making hopefully a short video. It has been brought to my attention just because I am so much into it that I don't necessarily think about that. That would be nice if I attempt to explain how it looks like, for me anyway, to be a clairaudient. How does it translate? How do I experience it? If you want to have a bit of better understanding of how that works, or anyway, for me it works because it's not a one size fits all, you can stick around and you're going to learn more about that. Remember to click the bell button so you're going to receive notification for any new video on explanation about spirituality growth, and all of the different abilities, how it is used, how it can be developed or not. Think at subscribing. I would love to reach my 200 subscribers and go beyond. Leave some comments and share, and you will make my day. All right, so clairaudience. It's for sure this is something, a word that I can use and I can label that I was since the beginning of time in this life. I'm just looking for the beginning of time. Only for the past year and a half, with all of the work that I do for spiritual growth, that I was able to understand that what I was experiencing as a kid and keep growing up was actually clairaudience. Otherwise, I didn't really have that understanding. So for me, it is happening for quite some time. How does it translate? Do I hear a voice? Do I hear a sound? Is it my voice? Is it the voice of someone else? It's just, I would say 99.9% of the time, there is no voice, there is no sound. But it's a bit tough to explain. But I hear something. It's like a silent voice. I didn't say that it's gonna make sense for everyone, but that's how it is for me. How do I know that it's not my mind? It's just because something that is not coming from my mind. It's not something that I have in mind at that moment where it's coming from. Or I can start to say something and suddenly I hear something else. It's just, where does that come from? Because the focus at the present moment is on something specific, like I'm talking about this video, and I suddenly hear something about banana trees and how the way that the leaves and the colors are shaking and moving, it's just have some vibration and frequency, whatever. I don't know. It's just, it can be many things, but it's just my focus is on something specific, and there is something else that is coming in. So that's not from my mind. My conscious, my physical mind stays in one area. I am consciously not good at splitting my focus. So when it is separate, everything else is not consciously, is not physically for me. I do not hear a specific sound or a specific voice, and it's not the sound of my voice either. I can hear words or sentences, and it's gonna be clear, and it's not gonna be necessarily a visual, because I'm clairvoyant as well. So meaning that I see visuals or a flash of something. It's a silent voice, but with words that I really hear clearly, and or sentences. Yeah, it's a bit tough and weird to explain, but that's how I experience it. So how does that work for me? Do I ask and I receive answer? It's a work in progress. It is expanding in progress, especially for the past few months. But I would say the time that I have been using it the most, and again before that I knew that it was really clairaudient, was when I When I'm in the mode of um, creating and imagining fiction stories, I have what I call, before I was saying that I had a conversation with myself, with my brain. What actually is more having a conversation with my higher self, or one is the spirit guide, or whoever is coming when it's time for a fiction story to talk about it. But I'm pretty sure it's most of the time it's my highest self. And it is really a dialogue, but once again, it is a silent dialogue, and yet I hear words. Suddenly, this is what I'm gonna hear. It's gonna be, "Hey, what do you think about the woman is taking a walk in the forest, and she's just picking up some countryside flowers, spring flowers, and she's just listening to the birds. And out of the blue, there is some kind of a sort of fairy light that's getting her attention. And that could be actually a great way for you to create sort of a portal that she would be like attracted, like curious at following the fairy lights, and then suddenly a huge portal would open and she will be like swallowed by it. What do you think about that? The whole thing, what I just said, it could be something that I'm going to hear out of the blue. And it's, yeah, most of the time, especially for the fiction story, it's going to be, what do you think about? I hear that, and it's always in the for the fiction stories, in one of my stories that are waiting to be told and to become a book. So it's not out of context. So I immediately know which story we are talking about, and I am consciously thinking about that, blah, okay, and see, and then I can say that, yeah, it's true that that could be interesting, but I don't really see how I can use that element with the topic of the story. And then I'm going to hear that, okay, yeah, but if you say this and you show that, so that could be actually a good way to demonstrate that. And then it's like, it's a ping pong game. But again, it's a silent voice. It's the same when I do some tarot reading, or if I receive what I call a download, and I usually have the hand like this to say that it's coming from higher. So it's definitely not a technological download, and it's not something that I will hear. I hear, but not hearing it. When I say that I have the call to pick up a book, this is something that I mentioned, for instance, in a few episodes of Broke But Not Broken, the series, the video, the diary, the unfiltered diary that you can find on the channel as well. How does that translate? I had the call to pick up a book. It's a silent voice, and I really heard the words, "You should pick up one of your book from the card box that you brought in the jungle." And it comes like this, out of nowhere. It's because now I am so used to it. And especially for the past 2 years, I worked so much at really surrender into what it says. And for the past at least year, if not 6 months, of going for it and trust it, because every time that I wasn't listening or applying, it's not that I regret it, but it was just that, okay, I should have listened. I can have a conversation with someone about baking an apple pie, and suddenly I'm gonna hear a few words specific about a situation or the person, and then I feel like, okay, I'm sorry, but I have to tell you that for you, the way that you are doing the cooking, and especially the baking for the apple pie, it feels more like this is a therapeutic way for you to step aside from society and to go back into a time where you felt more connected with the land. Is it possible? So it's giving somehow or sharing an information that I heard. It, most of the time, it's really that about me and for me and my work. But it can happen that I'm gonna hear about someone else, and that I hear it's like an from within a force that is just say it, share it to that person. Once again, this is how it is. I think that the more that I started to meditate, but to empty the mind, and at the same time to sort of get out of the body, was when I started to apply and to follow the advice of, instead of actually to act like an antenna, instead of just being in one frequency and captivating, catching all the signals that are emitted on that frequency, that I open the antenna to as many as possible. So when I started to pick up the closest and the loudest sound, I got it and I placed kind of in middle, and then I looked for a second one. And I will go to further away from me and further away. But I try to maintain all of the different sounds that I can hear them, but they're kind of mashed together. When I started to open my antenna, this is where I started to notice that I can hear better that clairaudience, that voice, those words. Or for the past 2 months, I'm having frequently, even when I'm not necessarily asking, conversation. Or if I ask something, about the work that I'm doing on myself, that I'm going to hear a word, or that I'm going to hear an answer that it is. I don't know if it's going to keep evolving, if it's going to change, because there had been some expansion. Clairaudient has always been the biggest one, the biggest clair to be present and to be used. From the moment that you start to open more to the sound, you would say that, yeah, but what's the connection between the sound, the noise, and hearing a voice? However it can be translated for you, it's raising your frequency so you are able to detect others' frequency. That if you stay too closed, your hearing is closed because the construction work is disturbing, the traffic is disturbing, the fridge is disturbing. I'm not saying that it is not, but because we are used by society and for some comfort to cut off and silence so many noises that we are shrinking our frequency, and then we are lowering, and we are getting it in a sort of a scarcity place of receiving other frequencies, other sound, other our abilities are keeping it low instead of raising and expanding it. I think it's a good place to start to improve, or maybe to start to see if you are a clairaudience and in which shape and form it is really expressing itself to you. Maybe you will hear your voice. Maybe you will hear the voice of someone that matters for you or that you love. It's just maybe as a comfort. It is different for everyone. For me, it has always been like a silent voice. And yes, I know that it's not my voice as speaking, but I can hear clearly words. That's how it is. If you have specific questions, more questions, please leave it in the comments. I will explain it. If you need more understanding, I will even make another video based on your questions and your wondering. Okay? And if you are a clairaudience, leave in the comments. I want to know, how is it translating for you? Do you hear a voice? Is it something that you enjoy hearing, or that for you it's a bit maybe scary and you don't want really to venture really much into it? So this is all for today. Thank you so much for having watched this video.